1 second here. All right, Becca, you're the host right now.
All right, perfect.
All right, it's 10 o'clock. Good morning, guys. I appreciate everyone for joining on a call today. This is a special, one-of-a-kind, product and event. So I really am excited to see this type of product, out on the market to really help and service our clients. So I'm going to pass it off to Becca and Wayne and let you guys take it from there. I'm Bill Feggins, and I'll be seeing here. You guys will be hearing from me, I guess, later on after the call or later on today. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Bill. As Bill mentioned, my name's Wayne Daniel with Allegiant Wealth Group. We've also got Becca Berry on here. Becca's our Director of Agency Development. So she helps with pretty much everything. She manages the contracting department, trainings such as this and other trainings that we do. So we appreciate you guys jumping on with us so we can go over the CICA Life Superior Choice product that Bill and life professionals have brought to you guys today. So thank you very much for taking the time. We're going to do some screen share. So if you have the ability to see the screen, I see some of you guys are on your phones and things of that nature, but if you can pay attention to the screen, we're going to go through the agent guide in the portal this morning. So Becca's going to go ahead and get us started here. Great. So Superior Choice, this product was created about 6 months ago, so very new in the market. And it was created, you'll see as we go along, for a career division of agents, right? So we wanted a product that covered a lot of the health conditions that you guys see in the marketplace. So, and then everything else we wanted covered with a GI product. So a lot of stuff that you see that would normally go guaranteed issue will go level, because we didn't want to use 10 carriers to get the same result, right? A carrier for COPD, a carrier for someone that has congestive heart failure, or someone that's on oxygen, or whatever the case may be. It seems like every carrier has their niche, and there wasn't one that would just kind of take all the things that we see, especially in the senior market, that we spend a lot of time in. So this is a 0 to 85 product. Becca, if we'll go to the next slide. It is a 0 to 85 product for the standard level immediate coverage plan, and also for the guaranteed issue plan. So we are currently the only 0 to 85 GI plan in the market, as far as I know. I know there's some other GIs that start at age 40 or age 50, but this is a true GI from age 0. We allow premiums from $1,000 to $30,000, depending on your age bands that you see there. So you can write those smaller premiums. I know a lot of carriers, a minimum is $5,000 or $7,000. Some of them are increasing that minimum. You can write $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in coverage if you're in one of those add-on situations. The immediate level plan, just like it sounds, it's day one coverage. If you can answer no to 8 health questions that we're going to go through here shortly. The GI plan is a 2-year return of premium that you guys are probably used to in the market, right? If they pass away in the first 2 years, they get their money back plus 10% interest. In year 3, it's the same as the immediate plan. So all of the plans include the terminal illness and dismemberment, which is actually a living benefit that we'll go through quickly here in a little bit. Those are included for free. And then there's an accidental death benefit that's included on the GI plan, or you can add it, right? You can add it to the immediate plan for $5 a month. So $60 in annual premium, and it just doubles the face amount. So if they get $10,000 worth of coverage for $5, they have $20,000 of accidental. Same thing for 30. If they have 30,000 in coverage, they get 60,000 with the accidental for $5 a month. And it's available for ages 0 through 84 to add that on. because at 85 it terminates. So the terminal illness, as it shows on the screen there, a maximum of 15,000 advanced on that rider. And then the dismemberment, this is something that's a little different. We're not used to having living benefits on simplified issue whole life products. And it's not a true, all-encompassing living benefit policy by any means, but we do have some accidental dismemberments. And you can see the percentages there. That's the percentage of face amount that would be advanced. For example, if you lose both hands or both feet or lose the loss of sight and eyes, that's 33% of the face amount. So, if you have that $30,000, that's $10,000 that can be advanced to pay for medical bills or, just to pay their household bills or anything that they need to use that money for if they choose to. And that is optional. They don't have to take it, but it's there for any of those things. And the percentages based on what kind of accidental dismemberment it is there and the policy for each client. Next slide, please. So what are some of the underwriting guidelines? So we'll kind of hit on the highlights here of what this product is great for. So I tell people there's some niches where this product is a great price buster, and we'll go through those certainly, but we didn't build this product to be the best price in the market. Remember, we built this product to take a lot of the health conditions that you see out there that aren't getting covered by other carriers. So there is no height and weight requirement. So 4 foot tall, 600 pounds, doesn't matter. There's a few carriers out there that don't require it. We're one of those. No height and weight. The premium was calculated at the age of the last birthday. There is no MIB or script check, and you'll see the reason for that in a minute. We've kind of flipped the underwriting market on, the underwriting and way actuaries look at things a little differently. So instead of pulling that stuff, to see what they're on, we want them on their meds and we want them seeing their doctor. And we'll go through that here in just a little bit. So no MIB or script check. And then there's no tobacco question. There is a drug question, but no tobacco question. So the rates are for male and female. There is no designation for smoker or non-smoker, tobacco or no tobacco. Physician information is recommended, but we don't require it. We do ask that if they have one of the health conditions that we'll go over here in a few minutes, that you add that. It just makes the claim easier if there is one to order medical records. But if they're healthy and they're not, they don't see a doctor, they just go to urgent care when they're sick, it isn't required. Like some carriers, you can just say no physician information. Next. So here's an example. We don't have everything covered, guys, but we've got 2 pages here of some of the stuff that you see in the market, and I'll kind of hit the highlights. So you can see congestive heart failure, standard first aid coverage. So if you're on your water pill, your heart pills that are, metoprolol and the lisinopril and some of these that knock things out when they're with the furosemide, none of that stuff. So congestive heart failure is fine as long as they're seeing their doctor and being treated and taking their medication. Chronic pancreatitis, COPD, that's another big one. Some carriers take it, some don't take it. Some say they do take it, but then they don't always take it. So we always take COPD, whether they're tobacco or non-tobacco, because we don't ask the question. Because I know that some of them, if they're a smoker and have COPD, they don't approve it. We approve COPD regardless of the other conditions, as long as they're seeing their doctor and taking their medication. Current cancer, if they currently have cancer, remember, this is a true GI product, so there are no declines. You get your guaranteed issue, right? You go guaranteed issue. But if it's a past cancer, there is no look back on past cancer. And this is huge. So most carriers, right? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, some even 10 years look back on cancer. They can be cancer free for 1 day and get first day coverage. So I know that's big with a lot of cancers. We see women with breast cancer, they take anastrozole. They may be cancer free now, but they're on the anastrozole for years, sometimes the rest of their life, to prevent it from coming back. That will go first aid coverage. Because I know that's a challenge with a lot of our agents. They're out there and you're seeing people that are cancer free, but they're still on some medicine to make sure that it doesn't come back. All of that would be fine for first aid coverage. So like I said, cancer free 1 day, that's a big one. So we're only looking for current cancer, you're on a 2-year wait. Cancer free 1 day or more, you're on the first aid level coverage. You can see cystic fibrosis, dementia, those are guaranteed issue. But dialysis, that's another one. Heart attacks, strokes, heart disease, hepatitis, all of that is standard first aid coverage. You say, how can we do that? We do have a disqualifier on the on transplants. So liver transplants, lung transplants, anything like that, kidney transplants for dialysis. If you're on the transplant list, then it would go guaranteed issue. But if you're just using dialysis for something acute, right? Sometimes there's diseases, they're trying to clear it from your body. You're on dialysis for a period of time, you can get first aid coverage with this product. So a lot of stuff there. Like I said, the big ones being congestive heart failure. We see a lot of COPD, your heart issues like heart attacks, your TIAs, stuff like that, the strokes, all of that stuff, first aid coverage. So next page. Insulin use, right? We see a lot of diabetics, especially seniors that are diabetics. We don't care how much insulin they use. We don't care when they started using insulin or were a diabetic. I know some carriers, if it's before their age 40 or before age 15 or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. They can be a diabetic from the day they're born, use any amount of insulin, first aid level coverage, as long as they're using their insulin. Kidney failure, again, that goes back to the dialysis. You're going to be on dialysis if you have that, as long as they're being treated by a physician, taking their meds and not on the transplant list, then they can get first aid coverage. Obesity, again, there's no height and weight chart, right? The organ transplant. So here's the disqualifier for some of the other stuff. If they're on dialysis because they're waiting for a kidney, then that would go GI, right? Because they're getting an organ transplant or they've been recommended to get an organ transplant and they're on the list. But if they've had an organ transplant, right, they've gotten a kidney or they've got a new liver or whatever the case may be, and they've lived with it for 5 years or more, they can get first aid coverage. So most carriers, if they've ever had a transplant, they knock them off and make it either GI or decline altogether. We're going, if they've lived with it for 5 years, then they're probably not going to reject the organ. So then that should be first aid level coverage. Oxygen use, pacemaker, sickle cell, any of that stuff is first aid coverage. There's no oxygen question on the app. There's no wheelchair question on the app. You can be confined to a wheelchair and get level day one coverage. But the question number one must be answered no. That question is your ADLs. So you can be confined to a wheelchair as long as you can do your activities of daily living, right? Dressing, bathing, eating, stuff like that, then you're fine. And the reason we wanted that, a lot of people, confined to a wheelchair because of an amputation, right? Diabetic neuropathy, whatever the case may be, all that should be standard first aid coverage, not guaranteed issue. But if they can't do their ADLs and take care of themselves, then it would be guaranteed issue. So, like I mentioned before, 8 health questions. It's real simple, guys. If you answer no to all of the health questions, they get first aid coverage. If you answer yes to one of the questions or all of them, they get the guaranteed issue product, where the rates are a little bit higher, and then they have the 2-year wait. Standard approval is always contingent on the client taking their medication and being treated by a licensed member of the medical profession for many of the conditions that we're going over. But there is an approval for every client, like I mentioned. So there are no declines with this product. You'll see when we go through the agent portal, it's in steps. We've created this portal from the ground up. This isn't like what you're used to seeing. This isn't an MRS or an iCover or iPipeline. This isn't an off-the-shelf product. This is a product that was built from the ground up, and it was built by agents for agents. So you get the policy number at the end of the application, right? Because you're either going level or GI. There are no declines. So it makes it really nice to know that when you start quoting this product, they're getting the product, if you based on how you answer the questions. So the 8 health questions, what are they, right? So the first one is, are you currently hospitalized? This is your ADL question. This is your confined to a nursing home, hospice care. Or if you're currently confined in the hospital, or you're in hospice care, or you're terminally ill, or you can't do your ADLs, then that would be a guaranteed issue. You would say yes to that. Otherwise, you would say no. The second question is your HIV and AIDS question. This is one, in my opinion, that should go first aid coverage. There's a lot of medicine out there now to keep people non-detectable, but we're still a little ways away from that, getting actuaries on board. So right now that is GI. So if they have HIV infection or the AIDS virus, then they would go GI. Otherwise, first aid coverage. C is going to be your cancer question. So if you read, have you been diagnosed by a licensed member of the medical profession with more than one occurrence of cancer or a reoccurrence of any cancer, being currently treated for cancer? There is no look back. There's no timeline on this question. So it's just asking if you have the cancer twice, right? Or you currently have cancer, then that would be a guaranteed issue situation. But if you just had cancer one time and you're cancer free, whether it's a day or 10 years, then you can say no to this and get first aid coverage. Is key on that. So next. All right, this question is the one that includes a lot of the conditions, and the way that it's worded sometimes confuses agents. So the not is a big deal here, right? So standard approval in the past 10 years. So there's a 10-year look back, right? Have you been medically diagnosed for which you have not been treated by a licensed medical? So not seeing a doctor, right? Or have not taken medication for the following, meaning you're not taking your meds. So are you ignoring the problem? That's key. If you're not ignoring the problem, all of these conditions that follow are first day coverage. So if you're seeing your doctor and taking your meds, so that's why we don't pull the MIV or script check. What's the point? We know that we're going to see medications, right? We're okay with that. There is no knockout med list. There's, we need to know if there's heart failure, heart disease, congestive heart failure, COPD, emphysema, all of the things listed here are fine as long as they're being treated and seeing a doctor at least once a year. But like we tell people, if they have one of these conditions, you want to make sure you go ahead and put the doctor's information that they are seeing down, right? That's just good practice. But if they're completely healthy, then you can say no to the physician question. But that's the key. Ms. Jones, are you going to see that doctor at least once a year? And then are you taking the medications that you're prescribed? Yes, I am. So I have COPD and I have congestive heart failure. And then I've got high blood pressure, and emphysema, whatever, or liver cirrhosis. But I'm not on the transplant list and I'm seeing my doctor and I'm taking my meds. Great. That's no first day level coverage. They can have a combination of all of that. They can say, have multiple of those as long as they can say they're being treated. So next, have you ever been medically diagnosed or a member of the medical profession taken medication for a mental disorder? So these are all your brain diseases and mental disorders. Those would be GI. So this is going to be, cystic fibrosis, dementia, Alzheimer's. You guys can read these here, but all of the things that cause, mental disorders or some kind of brain disease or something like that, these are things that can't be cured, ALS, stuff like that. So that would be guaranteed issue. But people ask me all the time, if they have minor anxiety or depression and they're taking medications, those are fine. Those can be cured. That can be first aid coverage. We're talking about these major diseases that don't get better, right? They only get worse as time goes on. So that would be GI. But I had someone ask me about autism, and there was something else, Becca. What was the other one besides autism? That was genetic disorder.
Down syndrome.
That's right. So Down syndrome and autism. The great thing about this product is those are genetic disorders, right? They're missing a portion of the DNA or there's issues genetically, right? So those are not brain or mental disorders. So those go first aid coverage. And that's huge for a 0 to 85 product because remember, if you're out there in the senior market seeing seniors, that's great. But this product is also fine for children. It's fine for younger people. So if you find someone that has autism or one of those genetic disorders, this is a great product for them where other carriers won't cover them. So the next question is, in the last 2 years, you've been hospitalized 2 or more times. Pretty self-explanatory, but I make sure that doesn't include going to the ER or urgent care at a hospital. That means admitted to the hospital.
I know. Are you home?
Sorry, somebody's not muted, I guess.
Okay,
There.
sorry. When are you coming home?
Hello?
Okay.
Get some feedback there, but in the last 2 years, have you been treated or advised for alcohol or drug addiction? So what does that mean? Basically, in the last 2 years, are you in a drug treatment? Are you going to AA? Any issues like that? Now, if you're going to AA after, right, you're not an alcoholic anymore, it's just maintenance, and that's fine. But that's just in the last 2 years, been seeing a medical profession for drug or alcohol abuse. And then the last one is that organ transplant question. Within the last 5 years, have you been advised to have one or have you had a organ transplant? So 5 years and 1 day plus, you're good for level coverage because they probably won't reject it after 5 years, or within 5 years, then you go GI. And that's it. Those are the 8 health questions. So you saw no height and weight, no wheelchair question, no oxygen question. A lot of the stuff that you see out there is not an issue. So these are the only 8 health questions. If you can say no to all of these, first aid coverage. If you say yes to one or all of them, then you get the GI. So right now, when we first rolled this out in June, we started writing business last July with a limited group. We were in 13 states. So you can see we're in quite a few more now, and we're adding them every week. People ask me all the time, when's this state or that state coming online? The answer is I don't know, right? So we can tell you we filed in these states, but getting that certificate of authority is up to the Department of Insurance. And this time of year with the holidays, they're not real quick. So I would say at this point, we're probably first of the year on some of these, but but it should be pretty quickly once everybody comes back from the holiday. But you can see the dark blue there are the ones that are already filed and approved, and you can actually write business. The light blue ones are approved. We've got the approval, we just don't have the certificate back, and then the other ones are not approved. The only one that's not approved that we won't even try to file, that we haven't filed in, is New York. That's the only state that we won't do business in at all, ever. We are in Puerto Rico, Alaska, Hawaii. We have filed there, so we're waiting for those as well. So literally everywhere except for New York is the ultimate plan with this product. All right, so when you get appointed, it's a pretty quick process. Everything goes through a Circon link. It's all electronic. Within 3 to 5 business days, you'll get your writing number. Anything that you have a license for, you will be appointed by the carrier, right? So if you have 10 state licenses or 2 state licenses or 1, you'll be appointed in those states to write business. We always ask that you check your state appointments. These are just application tips before you go take an application or before you're in a home or you're on a call, because if you get a new license after you're appointed, we don't automatically know that and appoint you in each state. So you want to make sure that you're appointed. We'll show you in a little bit how to check that, because otherwise you won't be able to select that state in the drop down when you're writing an app. And it's a quick email to CPS or letting us know so we can get that state added for you. We do have some required fields with social security numbers and emails for insured and beneficiary, date of birth for beneficiaries, some things like that that we're working on getting removed. But for the time being, if the client doesn't have an email or the beneficiary doesn't have one, you do none@none.com. Please do not put your agent email in there. If you do that, it will go to underwriting, which is a manual process for them to type the app in and review, and it will take longer to get your app issued. Because remember, because this is automatic underwriting in the field, day 1 level coverage or GI, as soon as you're done and get that policy number, it's automatic. So it's going to go straight into CICA's system and be ready to capture that premium whenever you're ready. So it's an automated process. There are no humans that look at the application unless you make a mistake or you put your agent email in there. So there's no reason for an underwriter to manually look at it. So just use none@none.com. If they don't have one, please do not put your agent email in there. Same thing with the beneficiary, none@none.com. The date of birth, relationship, and percentage are required. But the others, you can put 0 for social, and you can put none@none.com for email. Even the date of birth, if you don't have it, guys, you can put the date. But at least you gotta at least have the beneficiary's name, the relationship to the insured, and the percentages are absolutely required. Another good deal is you do not have to be a U.S. citizen for this product. CICA Life of America is the paper that this is underwritten on. The company also owns a company called Security Plan and just CICA Life, and they do business internationally. So we are fine with tax ID numbers. So they don't even have to have a green card, right? They can have a green card or be a citizen. But if they don't have a green card, as long as they're not illegal and they have a tax ID number and they're filing taxes, they don't have to have a social security number to get this product. So you can put a tax ID number in for the client, and that's perfectly fine. Replacement form, if you are doing a replacement, all the information is captured right there in the app. There's no extra forms to fill out. There is no paper app. Everything is done in the portal. We'll show you in a little bit. If you don't have internet access at the home, you can do it offline, save it, transmit later when you get internet access, but everything has to be done on the e-app. And then you've got to have the carrier's name on the replacement form, and don't put all zeros. If you don't have the policy in front of you that you're replacing, to put the actual policy number on there, use the client's social, because those replacement forms go to the company you're replacing and they need to look up that information. So we had some people putting zeros, that will go to manual underwriting and won't pass. So make sure you put the carrier name. I'm replacing XYZ carrier, and here's the policy number, or it's a lost policy, the client doesn't have it. Just go ahead and put that client's social security number in that space. And then here, if any health questions, mark yes. So you quoted the level plan. You get to the health questions, you find out that, the client does have current cancer and didn't tell you or forgot, to tell you, or you forgot to ask, and you say yes, and then it goes to GI. You will have to go back to step 1, and we'll show you that in the portal, to re-quote the product. Because if it does go guaranteed issue, those rates are different than the level plan rates, obviously. So you'll have to recalculate, redo the face amount, and then get the client to agree again. Step 7, there's a remarks section, and it's just going to be 2 lines, and we'll show it when we go through the agent portal. Don't put anything in this section. Again, why? because it won't automate the underwriting process. It will go to manual underwriting, and it's been 3 to 5 days to get something issued if it goes to manual underwriting, because they want to read the notes, right? So don't put drug information in there. Don't put doctor information. We've had some people put, this is a great app. We love the company, great process. We love feedback, guys, but don't put anything in there, please. If you've got feedback to the company, you can put it at cps@citizensinc.com. If you've got feedback on the product, you can send it to your upline and have them submit it in to the proper people. And we'll, we want feedback. We want to make changes and make this product better, but we don't want you to put it in the remarks section. So please don't do that. So next. Guys, I know there's a lot of questions too, so I'll stop real quick and let you know. Put your questions in the chat, and then what we'll do is have Bill, when I'm done here, we can go through and do a little Q&A at the end if that works for everybody. We'll be happy to answer those questions. So premiums, 28 days in advance. We are working on Social Security billing. We don't have it currently. We have to change payment processors. We've already identified Chase WorldPay and working on it, but it's not done at this time. The great thing though is missed premium payments can be collected by the agent. We wanted to give power to the agents to be able to take payments, right? Why would you get the information and have to fax something or email something to corporate to do it? Why can't we do it? So we've been able to solve that for you guys. Third-party premium payers, ACH, credit card, debit card, Direct Express. We take everything. We only advance on ACH, so only advanced commissions on ACH. Everything else will be paid as earned, but you can have a different owner. Third-party payer, anybody like that there's no rules as far as who's paying for the policy. As long as the insured, the owner, and the beneficiary have insurable interest, the rest of it's fine. Next. So commissions. So as I mentioned, we pay a little differently because we built this for a career agent. And a lot of times career agents are newer agents in the business. And what's a killer for newer agents? Chargebacks, right? So we try to solve that. So with the reoccurring ACH, as long as it's bank draft business, we advance 6 months. Okay, so we don't advance 9, but the reason is we only advance 6 months because we don't take chargebacks up front. We allow it to come out of your as earned on the back end, right? That 7 through 12 payment that you will earn when the client gets to that month. So that way, when you write a piece of business, assuming you're writing 100% bank draft business, you will always get a 6-month advance, even if you have a chargeback. Now, if it's a first payment chargeback, you obviously won't get paid, right? Because it's the first payment, you're going to get that money back. But after that, the second through the 6th payment, those chargebacks as earned will come out of that back end bucket. So I can explain that in detail if you guys need help with that later, but you don't go negative on the front end. There's never a negative balance on the front end like there is with most carriers. And that's why we only advance 6 months to make sure you've got plenty of as earned back there to take care of those chargebacks and still give you a check so you have your pay through. Commissions, we're paying once a week. So that way you're not getting $200, $300, $500 deposits every day, whatever the case may be. You get a larger check once a week on Friday. So the way it works, if for settled business, we run Wednesday to Tuesday. So let's say last Wednesday, right, through this Tuesday, as long as it goes issued, then you'll have your commission statement Wednesday and the money will be direct deposited in your account on Friday. So that's how it works. So just like that example showing 7/5 July 2023. So you can see on that calendar, 7/5 is a Wednesday, all the way through Tuesday the 11th. As long as that payment's made, then the 12th, the commission statement will be generated and money sent to you. So you would have it in your bank account Friday the 14th. So that's just an example from July. So that's the way it works every week. Just think Wednesday to Tuesday to get paid on Friday. Next. So always there's a place in the portal app download section. When we get to the portal, I'll show you guys this, but you can download these mobile apps, iOS, Android. You can do it on your desktop, on a computer if that's what you use. The reason for that is there's an offline mode. What does the offline mode mean? You can take the whole application, signatures and all, if you're in a place that doesn't have internet. And then what you can do is when you get to a place with the internet, you can hit transmit and it will send it to CICA Life for you at that point, right? So especially if you have a whole day, you're out in the middle of nowhere. This is mainly for face-to-face agents. You're out in the middle of nowhere, you don't have good service. You can take that full app, get back to the hotel or get home. When you have internet, you can transmit those applications to corporate. So that's a nice, if you're in the field. If you're up telesales, not an issue to really do this, but it is good for face-to-face agents. So telesales, for those of you that do telesales, currently the only option is a voice signature. So how do we do that? You have to have the ability to record the call. We give you, and we won't get too much into this process because we'll send everything to your upline, but basically you're going to have a link where you can upload a recording to, and all you do is you record the application. A HIPAA disclosure will give you basically a script to read, which will be the voice signature and the HIPAA disclosure. And then you're reading the application as we go through, which we'll show you. And at the end of it, you just name the recording, the client's, the insured's phone number and today's date that you took the app. You upload it, you put it on the app as the recording ID, and then CICA Life will match them together. So that's all you're doing. We don't care. You don't have to edit the call. We don't care how long the recording is. We just want you to start when you're capturing that application, just like you would if you were face-to-face, right? You're going to ask name, address, phone number, social. So you're recording all of that. The only and you're recording the health questions. The only difference is at the very end, you're going to give a 3-sentence HIPAA disclosure, and then you're going to do, basically there's a statement that says, by you saying yes, here's the same as you affixing your signature in person. And they say yes, and you're done. So next. We'll show you here in a second, but the agent portal can track pending lapses. You can view policy payment status. You can export everything. All of this can go to CSV or PDF. So if you have a CRM that's your own, you can export all your data and put it in there. You can do it for all your downlines. For those of you that are agency managers, you can see your production and agency production. You can collect missed payments, which is key. I'll show you that in a minute. And then you can view all the policy information. And that's the web address there that you go to get to the portal. So when you get your welcome email, it'll have your writing number. You'll create your own password with that writing number, and you'll go to that email address there. That web address there. And that's going to be where all the information is. It's all in one portal. You take the app, your commissions. It's not like some of these carriers where you have 2 or 3 portals that you have to go to get information. And you'll see that in a minute. We put it all on a dashboard in one portal. Next. So if you guys want to screenshot this or take down this information, here's all of the agent support lines, new business department claims, contracting, anything that you need. You basically have 3 email addresses there, 3 or 4, and a couple of different phone numbers. But this is this is for CICA Life, which is owned by Citizens, and this product is superior choice. We are the only ones that have this. This product is exclusive to us and a few IMOs like Life Professionals. So there's not a lot of distribution out there. So they have a team that's just for us of 7 people, and they manage our business at that CPS at Citizens Inc. So you'll get to know the people there, right? You'll get to know Mandy and Rebecca and Karen and all of those people there because they're going to be the same 7 people that are working on your business. So now what we'll do, while Becca's pulling up the portal, we can maybe answer a few questions if you want to, Bill. You want to run through them for us?
Sure. Go ahead, guys. If you have any questions, if you want them to type it in the chat, you answer the chat.
I guess that's the best, and we can run through them and see. It looks like somebody wants to clarify the HIV questions. Basically the answer is if they have HIV or AIDS, it goes guaranteed issue. If they don't, it goes level coverage. It's either a yes or no to that question.
Yeah, this is Joe. I'm the one that asked that question.
Yes, sir.
So in other words, you're saying it don't matter how long they had it, if they had it at any time.
Correct.
Because it's like I was trying to get that clarity because you said there's certain people that are living, but they're being managed with medications and a physician. You have AIDS patients the same way. They live 20 years taking meds. So I was trying to.
Yeah, and that was my comment on that. I feel like that should be categorized with the rest of the questions, but unfortunately it's not currently. Because if you have HIV or AIDS, there is no cure, but to your point, there's medicine to make you non-detectable, so you can live with it essentially forever. But right now it is still, it makes it go GI, unfortunately. So if they've got it, it's GI. I hope to see that change in the near future, but for right now, that's what it is.
Okay, and I got one more question and I'm done. When it comes to the e-app, is that e-app supported by the Chromebook? Is it Chromebook compatible?
Yes, it's just, I believe so. It's just a web book. I'm sorry, it's just a website that you go to. And I know that the Chrome browser is compatible, so I would imagine the Chromebook would be.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see.
I have a question. Is
Sure.
this being recorded and are we able to look at the recording?
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you.
Wynell Coleman, and my question is regarding the phone. So if I'm in taking an application for someone in another state and I'm not face to face, that's definitely by phone. So how will that play out? I set up the phone recording, or
Yeah, so you would have to have the ability to record the call, and we can get with Bill and get you some info. If you don't have that ability, a few websites or things for your cell phone apps that you can download to record. And then all you're doing is naming that recording, the client's phone number and today's date. And then we'll show you in a second on the application. You just put that information in the recording ID and you submit the e-app, and that's it. So it's real simple. We have a process for it. So you'll get an email separately. Anybody that does telesales, with the process to do it and some of that information. So I know it's a little fuzzy now, but once we get through the portal, you'll understand a little better, and then we'll get that script over to you.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything
I have a
else? Questions?
question.
Sure.
I have a question. My name is Sheila. When you say first day coverage, so once everything is approved, does that mean that it's like the first day coverage? I mean, I'm not really clear on.
Yeah, so immediate coverage is just that. Once the first payment is made, they have 100% coverage on the immediate standard plan. If you write the guaranteed issue plan, that's where the 2-year wait comes into play.
You said 2-year wait?
Yes, ma'am. 2-year wait on guaranteed issue. And then it's immediate. But the standard plan that takes the COPD, the congestive heart failure, the dialysis, everything that we were talking about, that would be first day coverage.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah,
Hi,
I see someone's
this
asking about.
is Brian. I had put a question in the chat about whether an application can be taken for an individual who lives in a non-applicable state, as long as it's written and signed in a state that's covered.
No, they'd have to. Becca, that may be a better question for you. How are we handling that? I know we had some people across borders.
The question reads on the application for the state that the client is currently in at the time of signature. So the state the client is currently in at the time of signature has to be one of the approved states.
I'm
So there you
sorry,
go.
that response just confused me. Is it the state that they're in at the time of signature, or their
This-
residential state?
Yes, it is the state they are physically currently in at the time the application is taken. So at the time they sign that application, the state that they are physically in.
Okay.
That's what the question reads on that. And you'll see it when we go through the application.
That's excellent.
That's
Thank
the
you.
state
So it
you'll
doesn't
select.
have to be their residential state. That's
No.
perfect. Thank you.
Correct. It's 2 separate selections. Yep.
Yes.
And then I also
Hello,
saw you
and
said
this is Sylvia. This is
Yeah.
Sylvia Rodriguez. I also wanted to ask, does it matter where the agent is at to do the application?
No, if you're just not face to face, you would have to do a telesales application.
Okay, a telesale, so I could be out of the country.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
But you
There's
must be,
no rules.
you
on where
must be licensed in the state that you're, right, even if you're not there,
Correct.
you
Yes,
have
you
to be
always have to be
licensed in
licensed in
that
the state.
state.
Of course, yeah, I know that part.
I'm
Okay,
just
thank you.
saying, sure.
Thank you.
Okay, this is
One
Chris.
question, in regards to the payment method, does that change the level of commission? Some companies pay less for the direct express, for instance.
No, the commission's the same for all the payment methods. You just won't have any advanced commissions. You'd be paid as earned. But the commission is different, and you'd have to get with your upline for that, for the level plan versus the GI. The GI does pay lower commissions, but you guys will see that in your commission schedule. But the commission level is the same for 0 to 85, and it's the same regardless of the payment method.
I can say something about the commission. So I mean, right now everyone's over 100% right now. So that's a 6-month advance, which is incredible because typically on most GIs, for individuals, agents is typically 40, 50, 60, and agency owners is 50, 60, 70, maybe something like that. So the commissions are incredible to get a 6 months advance on a past cancer client. So I mean, it's really, I mean, and the prices are great too. So, and I definitely want Bernie at some point, Bernie to speak on it because he's out there writing a bunch of applications.
Okay, great.
Bernie's journey, so he's on here too. So whenever you get a chance, you can swing it to him so he can add his 2 cents.
Sure. We'll run through this pretty quick because a lot of this stuff you guys will understand walking through. I'm just going to hit on the highlights. So when you log into your portal, this is what it's going to look like. And we kept it real simple. You've got individual production, agency production at the top, the number of apps that are issued, and the amount of annual life premium that's issued. If you don't have any downlines, you're not an agency, you're just a single agent, both of those numbers will be the same. All right. Down there where it says status book of business, in progress, that means how many apps do you have in progress that haven't issued yet. Failed means that you shouldn't have any there, but if you do, that means something didn't transmit to corporate correctly.
I'm on the line.
Oh,
yes,
right.
I got a question. Hello?
Okay. Yes.
What's the maximum face amount?
It depends on the age, but it goes up to 30,000. It's banded. It was on that first page. And it'll be in the agent guide. So 30, 20, and 10, depending on the age.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. But up to 30.
So 30 is the maximum for somebody
yes,
like
sir.
50 years old.
Correct.
Okay, my man.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. And then failed means it didn't transmit. 1 month arrears, if you have anybody there, that means they've missed one payment. So what's great is, let's say that you've got 2 people that missed one payment. It will show the annual premium there. When you click that button, it will take you to those 2 policies, right? So let's click it and it'll show, back to click it quick. These people aren't past due, but it'll show you some policies there. They'd be in red if they were past due. So you could say, let's say Melvin Parrish was past due there, that first one, you would get that policy number, and then you can go up to policy payment, call Melvin and make that payment yourself. So where it says policy payment. So let's say they're on bank draft and they make 2 premium payments, right? The third payment bounces, it doesn't go through for whatever reason. So they show up on that report on the bottom. If you check that every day, call the client. If they have a bank account, they probably have a debit or a credit card or direct express. They have something, right? So you can take it over the phone and clear it up yourself without involving corporate. And they're still going to be on bank draft. So the next month it'll try again. So as long as they don't have 2 drafts bounce, they'll stay on the draft, but it'll allow you to catch that payment up. If you need to retake the ACH, you can do that too. But a lot of times it's easier to get them on the phone. Just have them give you their debit card real quick. You type it in, then you know the payment's made. You don't have to worry about a chargeback or anything like that, and you can manage your own business. So, so we put that in there for you, the policy payment. Pending lapse bucket, that means they've missed 2 payments. We lapse policies at day 90. So between days 61 and 90, they'll be in that bucket. And that means that you've got one last chance to collect a payment, right? They really need to pay 2 payments at that point. But if you get at least 1 payment, they'll stay in that, what do they call it? Can't think right now, but basically they won't lapse the policy, right? They'll be okay they'll stay 1 payment behind. So it's ideally you want to get 2 payments, but as long as you can get at least 1 payment, the policy won't lapse. They'll be in their grace period. That's what I was trying to think of. So they'll stay in that grace period. So you won't have to worry about anything lapsing. On the top right, the resources, you have policy service forms, helpful links that you'll need, contracts and commissions, everything to manage your business from claims forms to changing a beneficiary to your agent guide. The question that was asked about going up to 30,000 and what are the limits, all of that's in here, right? So when you guys get access to your portal, you'll go in there and see everything, any change forms for the reporting package, guides on this app, and everything's in here. So make sure you click on all this stuff, all these trainings, because they're really helpful. You've got a customer quick search there. Wayne Daniel calls in, you want to look me up real quick, you can search by first, last name, or policy number. So someone calls you on the phone and pull them right up. Your customers tab there is a way to get all your customers if you need it. Then you have reports, all of these reports. You can go through, you can export them in CSV. If she clicks on activity report, for example, that's just going to be your book of business. It's going to show, your agency sales, how many submitted month to date. So this agent submitted 2 apps for 15,000 in volume in face amount and 1,330 in an annual premium. So it shows you that. It shows you the reports down there that you can export. And you can do it by month, by agent, agency, or individual, anything that you want there. So you can sort all of this stuff. It's pretty simple. The renewal premium report, once you get into year 2, it's tracking that. So like I said, we won't go through all of these, but you've got plenty of reports here. It's going to show you how they're paying, if it's by ACH or Direct Express or credit card, if they're on reoccurring. So all this information's right at your fingertips. So you don't have to call anybody. You don't have to check with anybody. You can do it all yourself. When you're ready to take an app, real simple, you've got your list, which is going to list anything that you haven't transmitted, right? So we've got some tests in here that we've done on calls like this. So these obviously weren't transmitted. So you could go in, if you saved an application and you're in an area that doesn't have internet, this is where you would go in, take the app and save it, and then you would transmit it once you got internet. The other side there, you go to applications, new application, and it starts to pull up and you just take your application, right? So you got your name. Now, if you're doing telesales, this is where you would start your recording, right? So you're negotiating with the client, you're going through your script. They say, great, let's see what we can get you qualified for, whatever you're saying. Then you start hitting record and you go first name, last name, you start going through this. Authorization. If you're doing a call center, that means telesales. You don't actually have to be in a call center, right? So if you're working at home as a single agent doing telesales, say yes. So the difference, what that's going to do is if you say no, it's going to prompt you for a signature to sign on the screen. If you say yes, it's going to prompt you for a recording ID. What is the recording ID? That's what you name your recording file, which is the client's phone number and today's date. So that's what you're doing there. You're picking your plan. You're calculating the premium. You can go over it with the client, and then you click next step. Each time you click next step, it's going to walk you through all the steps. At any time, if you want to go through and see what you've completed, once you get done with this, you can hit that table of contents at the bottom, and it'll show you all the steps. So we'll go through this one. So you see here the general information. You're putting all that in. If they don't have an email, remember, put none@none.com. So then here, she's got table of contents. You see, you'll get the thumbs up when you've completed the information. So you've got 8 steps here. And so as she completes it, she'll get the thumbs up. Policy owner, if they're different, you would do it there. We'll say no, so we can move forward. And then here, when you're putting the beneficiary in, it's going to ask you for the email and the social and the date of birth. We know that you don't always have that. If you have it, put it in there. But guys, if you don't, the name, the address, the relationship to the agent, and the percentage is the most important thing. You could add up to 4 beneficiaries and 4 contingents. You just click the blue button that says add beneficiary. If this one wasn't 100%, you can add another one. Sorry, I know we're going through this fast, but this is pretty simple stuff. You're just answering the questions here. So let's scroll down. Let's not do any more. If you were doing a replacement, this is where you would say yes. And then you would put in the policy information, the carrier and the policy number, or that client's social security number. But we'll say no to move on. Here's your 8 health questions. So you're saying no here as you're going through, or if you're saying yes, remember it would go GI. So all of these have to be no. If you want to go for the level immediate plan, if it is yes, then you would put, then you go back and quote GI. You can put your doctor in there or click no physician and then click next step. Here's the remarks, step 7 of 8. This one you just pass by. Pretend like it doesn't exist till we can get it removed. Please do not put anything in the additional remarks. Some people are putting prescription drugs and health conditions. None of that's necessary. Please don't put anything in there. Now we did this as a telesales app, right? As a call center, as it's worded. So now instead of a signature, it's asking for that recording ID. So when you're recording that and you're done, you know the recording ID is going to be the client's phone number along with today's date. So type that in there. And then when we're done recording this and you hit stop, you name the file this, and then you upload it to the link that you're going to be provided. And that's it. If they want to make a payment today, obviously you say no, the policy takes effect today. A lot of our clients, especially the seniors, are on a fixed budget. So if you wanted to do January 3rd for Social Security, you would say yes to delay payment. You can add agent and do splits there if you want to, with as many agents as you need to. And then once you get all the thumbs up and she clicks upload application, then that's the end of it, right? That's when you get the policy number. And then now you see the hold payment is 1-3. So now we're asking for the payment information. So we do that at the end. So you don't have to have the payment information from the client till they're quoted. They know what the price is. They've agreed to it. The application's completely done and you know exactly how much it costs. And you put in the information here. And then there's a little consent there. You do not have to read this. If you're telesales guys, we'll have a separate script for you to read that's totally separate from that. Here's where you put ACH or credit card. You click credit card for actual credit cards, debit cards, or Direct Express. But remember, you will only be paid as earned, not advanced. So only the ACH and bank draft is advanced commissions. Here's where you want to make sure that box for recurring's clicked, put in the billing information, save, and you're done, guys. And like I said, we won't go through that because that'll actually charge somebody, or we'll have to put real information in there. But once you're done with that, the application's done. So we've set this up for the 3rd. So it will show up as a hold application. That doesn't mean anything's wrong with it. It's just on hold until it goes issued on the 3rd of January. And then the 3rd of January, it is payment on draft. So on the 3rd of January is a Wednesday, which means that you would be paid that Friday, the 12th of January, right? Because Wednesday through Tuesday, so you'd be paid the 12th of that. And then here, she click credit card. So you put in the credit card information, make a payment, and that's it. So here you see it says hold application, but if you want to go back in and view, you can do that. It was a $5,000 amount. You can click it. Now you can't change anything, but you can see you can't. It's been submitted. So if you want to edit it, you have to do it before you click upload, because remember, that's when CICA Life gets it. So go back to the table of contents, please. So right here, before you click step 9 that says upload, you can do all 8 of these and change it. You can go home. You can do anything you want. But once you click upload and get that 22000 number, CICA Life has it. No more changes without getting them involved. And then we've got that hold date. So make sure you don't upload it till it's perfect, exactly how you want it. And then that's it. It's that simple. And then it'll show up as a customer in your dashboard, and you just track it to make sure that first payment goes through.
Wayne, I have a question right there. Yeah. If you're without internet, well, I have a couple questions, but when you're without internet, you're not hitting that upload page, right?
Correct.
Still hitting.
Yep. So you're saving that upload. You have to have internet. So right. So you would download this app. You would do it in offline mode. You're going to save everything, and then literally when you get internet, all you do is click that step 9 upload, and add the payment information, and you're done.
Okay, so you're not adding the payment information when you're with the client.
Correct.
So
you still get it. I think you can if you want to. I don't know, Becca, does it allow you to do it, or do you have to upload it first?
It does not. You have to. So if you don't have internet service, you need to download the mobile app. The instructions are pulled up right here on whatever device you're using, and you can click offline mode. Right when you log into there, you can take the application from your, if you download it to your laptop, you can download it to your phone, to your tablet. You can take the whole application right there, and you would just have to hold on to that premium payment information. So that way you can do it after you upload the app when you do have service.
So you're copying that information separately until you're uploading it then.
Yeah, and that should be, that shouldn't be a lot of instances, right? Because if you're doing telesales, you should always have internet. If you're face-to-face, you'd still want to upload in the home and get it all at once if you can. This isn't a situation where, you don't have cell service, or the client doesn't have internet, or whatever the case may be. If you're face-to-face, it's the only time you would use this. But it's just handy because a lot of carriers, you have to do it all in the home. They check IP addresses to make sure and all of that. We are fine with you uploading it later. Just get the signatures and get everything done in the home, right? And then you just upload it and put that payment information after. But it shouldn't be, an every deal situation, just when you don't have access to internet.
Okay, I understand. Now, also, how quickly do you pay claims?
So claims, just like everybody says, 48 hours, but that's 48 hours after it's approved. So that's a loaded question, right? If it's incontestability, they're going to order medical records. And so, depending on the agent assist and the client's persistence, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a month. If they're outside the 2 years, it's going to be very quick because there's nothing to check. So it's going to be, the same way.
Now, I had this question in the chat. If you have a client who has a child or somebody that they want to insure that may be homeless, or maybe, a non-responsible type person, and they want to cover them in a policy, can they do that without the insured signing?
No, the insured still has to sign the application or do a voice signature over the phone. The insured has to sign, but they can, a third-party payer, there could be a third-party payer. So sometimes you run into that with children that, that are of working age, right, or even adults, and they don't allow a third party payer because they're supposed to pay for their own policy, that's allowed, but they still have to sign the application in person or do the telesales option.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Great. Well, do you want to turn it over, Bill? You said you had someone that was writing apps. Do you want it to kind of do a little testimonial, and then we're done unless anybody else has any other questions?
I
Yes,
have one question.
sure.
I have one question. I don't think I heard you mention epilepsy in one of those illnesses. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. I don't know specifically. We could find out for you. I don't know if that's a mental disorder or not.
It's a neurological disorder.
Okay. I'll have to check on it. I don't know offhand. It's not on the cheat sheet, but it is a seizure type disorder. So I need to find out which is a disorder of the brain. So I would have guaranteed issue as my guess, but we'll check on it and get back to Bill on it for you.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize, Bill. I do have one other question that I had placed in the chat, and that's about bipolar disorder. Would that be standard or guaranteed issue?
That would be guaranteed issue. I know some people take it standard. Again, we're a little weak on the mental disorders, but that one would be schizophrenic and bipolar are for sure guaranteed issue. So those you would want to, either go that route or place them somewhere else. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Bernie, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So go ahead, Bernie, take it off. I knew Bernie since 2005. We've been doing insurance together. So I trust Bernie. And one of the purposes Bernie brought me to this opportunity. And it was just great. And he's out there winning awards for writing so much business. So he would have anybody, he would know what's going on in the field. So I definitely like for Bernie to give his testimonial before we wrap it up. And by the way, contracts are going out. So I know people are asking me. Contracts are going out via Assurance Bay, and hopefully Michael Appleby can say something too towards that. But I sent everything over to Diane, so you guys will be getting Assurance Bay link. So hopefully you guys can do it today and get some people coverage that you know of before the end of the year. So just letting you guys know they have absolutely are going out today. So just expect the Assurance Bay link soon. So I'll let Michael say something and Bernie say something about that. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Bernie.
Well, first, the link will be coming from Sercon, not Insurance Bay, just a quick side note. But besides that, I guess Wayne covered everything in terms of the product. I don't really have much to say. I mean, I'm out there, I'm writing it. I have a lot of customers. I see people a lot. And I guess the beauty of it is being able to help folks where in the past it was somewhat difficult to do so. Like you and I, Bill, we talk on a regular basis, like in terms of, someone who had cancer maybe perhaps a month ago. You can help them get first day coverage right now. Somebody who recently suffered a heart attack or a stroke, before I just couldn't do it. I've been a licensed agent going on 20 years now, like you mentioned, and it's a first of a kind, so that's all I have to say. And pretty much that's it. And so.
Hey, this is Joe from Philly. I got one question. How long does it take to get your right number?
If after you fill out that Sercon link, once you fill out that Sercon link and it gets sent into Citizens, assuming that you filled it out correctly and that you did include, if you answered any of those background questions, include all those pertinent details and include your E&O insurance, you'll get that writing number within 2 to 3 business days.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
As far as the cost of the product, I understand that it's banded 10, 20, and 30,000. Is it priced per band, or is there still a little fluidity in the cost by band amount?
No, the cost is per 1,000, and it's based on the last birthday. It has nothing to do with the bands. It's not like a term policy where it's banded. The price is the price. The bands mainly come in because we are taking all of these health conditions. As seniors get older, we want to limit the risk. So we don't want to offer 30,000 for someone that's 85, obviously taking these health conditions. So that's why it's banded, but nothing to do with the price.
Gotcha.
I have a question. When I was looking at the states that were pending, so Virginia, Maryland, and DC are still pending.
That's correct. We filed in those, like I said, with the holidays. Again, that's one, I don't want anybody to lock me down on a timeline because it's not up to me. It's up to the Department of Insurance in each of those states, but everything's been sent in correctly. Everything's ready to go on the desk as soon as we can get the government to sign off on it, the government entities. So we have legal following up all the time, especially Virginia. That's a big one for us. Ohio, Michigan, a lot of those states. So we have people ask us every day, and I give them all the same answer. We've done everything on our end we need to do, and we're pushing them, I promise, as quickly as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But remember, guys, we were in 13 states 6 months ago, so it moves fairly quickly when you look at it overall, right? Big picture, to be where we are now. So I would imagine sometime in January. It may surprise us this month, but we're getting to the end of the month, and with the holidays, I can't imagine it be done, but I would assume January for all of those states. California, a little bit longer, maybe end of January, 1st of February, but we'll get them all done.
Wayne, I have a question. How's the sustainability and profitability with this product since the inception of it? And what is your future goals down the line with CICA and yourself and you guys creating this product? How is it sustainable? People, have questions. Is this going to, last a year or two?
Yeah, so none of us could tell the future, obviously, but I will tell you that if you look at the other GI products or near GI products that have left the market, the reason is they weren't, the price was too low. I mean, the truth is they were cheaper, and you can't do cheaper when you're dealing with health conditions, right? And you're getting clients covered. So the price has to make sense. So instead of trying to fight the market and have the best price product out there for every age, we just have the appropriate price to take those health conditions. And yes, it's a price buster for young people and for smokers. And, that's why if you've got some kind of quoting software that you use through yourself or life professionals, use that software because it'll surprise you sometimes and be a great price. And then other times when you get older, it's not, because we're taking those health conditions and we want to stay around for the long term. So we've priced it to be there for the long term. That's why the compensation is what it is. And then the claims paying ability and all of that, we've got to make sure the carrier is profitable. So, and a lot of that comes down to the agent. If it's a GI, make sure you put them in a GI. If it's level, put them in a level. We are spot checking some of these, but it's very important that you're honest. We're taking most everything level anyway. So, if someone's in a nursing home or someone can't do their ADLs and they're on their last leg, please don't write them this product or put them in the GI so they're protected. You're not doing anybody any service, the client or the agent or anyone. So, you kind of look for you guys to help us protect the product, and then also its price to pay the claims and do what we need to do. From a future standpoint, the reason that it's called standard and GI is because my next step is to work on a preferred product with them that is a true price buster that's only for healthy people, right? So in theory, we would have 3 bands. We would have preferred, which doesn't exist today. Then the standard that we have today that we just showed you, and the GI. So we're a one-stop shop. So you could essentially, every client from 0 to 85 up to 30,000, you could write this product with no declines. They're either going to fit in one of the 3 buckets. If they're healthy, they're getting the best price on the market, right? If they're not healthy, they've got a standard plan, but still get first aid coverage. And if they're super unhealthy, then you have the GI option. So that's the next step for us. And we feel that, with no chargebacks up front and weekly pay versus daily pay. I know carriers went to daily pay. This isn't always a thing. And Mike knows this too. We've been all doing this over 20 years, 30 years, but used to, daily pay came in, I don't know how many years ago, but it's carriers competing to get payment out fast. But the problem with that is it's hard for agents to budget sometimes, right? When you're getting these small deposits daily, so we think giving a larger paycheck once a week so people can actually, budget their money and pay their bills, along with, putting good quality business on and building that renewal faster with only a 6-month advance with no chargebacks. Your cash flow should be the same up front, right? Versus a 9-month advance. But then you should get a larger pay through if your portfolio is performing, because you're going to get to that month 7 a lot quicker than you would month 10. So all in all, from a cash perspective, the agent, you know, on the same comp level with another carrier versus this one, they should feel like they have more cash with this plan in the first 12 months. And that was the goal. So good for the client, good for the agent. And like I said, the preferred products are our next step. So I'm glad you asked that. Not many people asked if there's anything next, but that's why we called it standard and GI, and we left room for that preferred product later.
Mike, did you want to say anything about?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
My name is Mike Appleby. I'm with Life Professionals. I can tell you that we couldn't be happier to have Bill join with us to market this very unique product. I do have a history going back almost 20 years with Bernie, who just spoke. And by the way, Bernie, you can write business in Mexico with this company. We had an incident when Bernie was on vacation with his family. He was trying to write business with a bunch of carriers, and because they check IP addresses, we couldn't find somebody, so he couldn't work on vacation, which his wife was probably very happy about. But that's a nice niche. Also couldn't be happier to partner with Wayne and his team. I can tell you, we have a history. I'm approaching my 38th year in this business, and I know I don't look that old, but I am, of creating products with different carriers. The most recent was the plan right with Foresters. And I can tell you that Wayne and his team have thought about almost everything. I'm very impressed with what they've been able to do. I'm also very impressed with his future plans. So I think you guys are on the cutting edge with this portfolio, this carrier, and this group. I can tell you not many agents have it. So you're going to be the first in your area, and it's always good to be first. Okay. So anyway, in regards to contracting, you may not get a link today because their process, we put their information on a spreadsheet with the carrier. And I believe, Becca, you're going to have to help me here. It's a 48-hour turnaround guaranteed. I could be wrong about that. So I'm just going to let you know you may or may not get your link today, but I do know that our staff is working on their end. And then I don't know how long it takes for you guys to actually receive that link. Becca,
That's correct. As soon as that information is received that we need for that contracting piece, we'll be able to upload it in CIRCON, and you will get that link. Your upline will have that information as far as what it will look like, so you can expect it. Keep an eye on your junk folder specifically. Sometimes it gets filtered into junk or spam, and if you delete it on accident, we have to refresh it for whatever reason, you're not going to receive it a second time. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye on that over the next 2 days, probably definitely before the end of the week. You should all have those emails in your inbox to be able to complete contracting. You can also confirm with your upline once it's been sent. They'll be able to see that information, and you can log into CIRCON directly to complete it there as well.
Great. Anyway, I just wanted to say a few words, letting you know who we are. We deal with IMOs around the country, of which Bill is one of our newest relationships. And I want to wish everybody a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas.
Same here. Thanks, Mike.
Same to you. Same to you.
And thanks, Wayne.
Thank you. You
Becca,
too.
and everyone on here. We will get those contracts out. I put my cell and my phone number, my email, in the chat, guys. And we're going to, everyone who registered, we're going to get that information over to Diane with Mike, and get those links out to you guys. So I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to call me or email me, and look forward to some more trainings coming up too, guys, with Wayne and Becca in the near future. All right.
We appreciate the partnership, and thank you guys.
Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I hope this was a
Awesome.
present for you guys.
Merry Christmas. Peace and blessings.
Bill, this was awesome. Bill.
Awesome sauce.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Awesome sauce.
Thank you.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Hope I gave you guys a great insurance gift.
That's right.
The best one,
Awesome.
yeah.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
guys.